Baby girl, I don't know you in person, but there's one thing that I know about you. You are going through a breakup, or you're still in a relationship, marriage, or situationship, but it's struggling. He's going silent, detached, cold on you, and you don't know what to do. So in this video, I'm going to talk about two parts. Part number one, let's talk about why exactly is he doing that. But since I don't want to focus on only problems, and I also want to talk about solutions, I'm going to take you into part two of the video, which is what should you be doing right now? How to reverse the situation, how to save yourself because you come first. But number two, how to also possibly save the relationship. So if you found me for the first time, subscribe, give it a like, and watch until the end because this is going to be really helpful and it's none of everything you've heard from the mainstream breakup coaches. Let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the reasons why men behave this way. I've been coaching a lot of women one-on-one for a long time now. And in my experience, I've seen and I've heard so many reasons, but I tried to summarize everything at least in three main reasons. I have my notebook here to help me to remember everything. Let's not waste time, okay? So the first one is polarity collapse. You're going to hear this from mostly coaches online, mainstream breakup coaches, where they tell you that you got too close. You were too close, too into him, too emotional. But I'm going to reverse it, and I'm actually going to tell you that you disappeared. What does that mean? See, desire needs a separate person to desire, if that makes sense. You can't desire someone who's 100% like your copy, right? You need someone who's different. You need otherness in someone, right? So when you start to mirror everything, when you start to seek for validation, approval, when you lose your independence, what makes you you, what initially got him into you, when you start to change your schedules, your hobbies, your routines, everything, and have your entire life revolving around him, there is less and less of you for him to actually want. And I want to shed some light on what most mainstream coaches talk about, which is, oh, he's just an avoidant. He's doing this because he is an avoidant. That's why he's staying cold and detached and, all this. It might be true to some degree, but I'm going to counter it a little bit. See, we have three types of attachment styles in a relationship. We have secure attachment style, we have anxious attachment style, and we also have avoidant attachment style. But I want to tell you that this behavior, the coldness, the detachment, the silent treatment, every one of those three attachment styles and every partners in those three categories, they actually do this as well. It's not something just specific or unique to the avoidant attachment styles. So if your day is increasingly revolving around whether he texts you or not, whether he calls you or not, there is the same collapse that I'm talking about happening in real time. And that is going to take us to the second reason why he is doing exactly what he's doing right now. And I like to call this freeze. See, most people are familiar of fight or flight, right? But there's another category that is very under-discussed, and that is the freeze category. When a man is cold, detached, silent treatment, sometimes not really because he lost feelings, he's indifferent, and he want to destroy you. Sometimes just because he is frozen. What does that mean? It means that withdrawing is not always a conscious decision that he sits down and make. Sometimes it's that he is overwhelmed, especially when his past experiences have taught him that big emotional demands equal to danger. This usually happens after a heavy, loaded emotional conversation. It doesn't happen randomly. If you argued, if you talked about something emotional, deep, overwhelming, and you see him going straight into coldness, he's detaching, he's giving you emotion, like silent treatment. This is him being into the freeze mode. But I don't want you to settle for this and be like, okay, fine, he is in the freeze mode. I have to just wait until he gets out of this. If it's becoming a pattern, if it's becoming repetitive and it's taking away your mental peace, it's taking away the joy in the relationship, it's not something you have to settle for. He has to be mature enough to address whatever that is bothering him, or at least to communicate. Now, reason number three why men give you a cold shoulder, give you a silent treatment, why men detach, is going to be adequacy threat. He's scared of not being enough for you. And for him, disappearing, running away, it feels much safer than staying and finding out later that he wasn't enough for you. There's a song, I don't know if you know this song, is by the Chainsmokers and Illenium. It's called Takeaway. It goes like, before I love you, na na na, I'm gonna leave you, na na na. Before I'm someone you leave behind, I break your heart so you don't break mine. Excuse my awful singing, but I believe you get the song. So he's not trying to break your heart before you break his heart, but this is him trying to save himself of a potential imminent danger that he believes might happen because he feels like he's not really enough for you. Enough for you in what ways? It's not always material, like it's not always money and finance or whatever. It could be, but not always. Sometimes it's not enough for you in terms like of emotion. See, many men are raised believing that worth equals to competence. And that translates into how they behave mostly in relationships or sometimes in the beginning of them, of relationships, where they are just all about impressing you materialistically. They want to take you to fancy dates. They want to buy you expensive gifts. They want to, show off what they have, materials. But when you take them into the deeper level of emotional connection when it comes to women, to most men, it's an unfamiliar territory. You've probably heard of this from other women, or you've seen this online, where most women say that, oh, he doesn't understand me. He really doesn't get me, right? And I've also heard a lot of men saying that, oh, whatever that I do, she seems to not appreciate it. She doesn't connect like with what I do. Like I put in a lot of work, a lot of efforts, but she always has something to complain about. I'm not taking away the fact that some women might be really that stressful, like ungrateful, but I've also noticed from my experience that actually men don't get women emotionally sometimes, right? Sometimes you get mad and he thinks that is because of reason A when it's because of reason B. Sometimes you want him to read between the lines. You don't want to always tell him what makes you happy, what makes you sad. You don't want to always tell him what he should be doing because then it doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel thoughtful, right? Coming from you complaining about it. This pushes away a lot of men, especially when they notice that they won't meet you where you want them to meet you emotionally in the future. They just decide to bail on you. They decide to go away, to get cold and distant and detached, and simply because they know it's imminent that in the end you're going to be the one leaving them, right? Running away because they won't meet you exactly where you want them to meet you. And they just decide to do what they consider the safest way, which is just to detach or to leave you, right? But I want you to only consider this as the reason through this one condition, under this one condition. If he was just a present partner, present boyfriend, husband, or situationship partner, if he was present and just randomly after an emotional conversation, after things got a little bit intense, like not in a bad way, but like to talk about the future. Maybe you are trying to be exclusive. You're trying to talk about marriage, talk about proposal, talk about moving in. If this happens after that conversation, then you have to know exactly that this is a man who is not necessarily afraid of commitment, but he's possibly afraid of not being emotionally adequate enough for you. And for that reason, he decides to break your heart before you break his, but in this case, leave you before you leave him. Again, in this case, this has nothing to do with you as a person. It doesn't mean you're boring. Now, let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about what should you be doing right now to reverse the situation. Number one, to save yourself because you come first. And number two, to save the relationship. Or at least to save yourself some time and some headache, right? So the first thing that you have to focus on right now, please stop interrogating the silence. Stop asking those questions. I know you want to ask him so many questions. You're very confused. You're very heartbroken. You can't do your work. You can't sleep well. Everything has stopped in your daily routines. And you want to ask him, you want some sort of closure. You want to ask him, does he still love you? Does he still care? Why the silence? But even though those questions are very valid and very important, the more you push for those questions, the more you give him one extra reason, one more reason to withdraw, to pull away. This puts him in a position of defending himself. It puts him in a position of wanting to prove to you and to himself why he took that decision. So it's not really helping you. The second thing that I want you to do, which is very, very important, I want you to reclaim the life that he fell for. There's a version of you that he fell for. So I don't want you to focus on him right now. Because in my experience, the more you focus on him, the more you choose him, the more he chooses himself. The more you focus on himself, and the more he runs away from you. So I want you to reclaim that old version of you that got him in the first place, that he was attracted to, that he was excited to spend the rest of his life with, or maybe to date, be with. I want you to reclaim that version, because somewhere down the line, you've lost it. Maybe not 100%, but you've lost a huge percentage of it. So by becoming someone worth returning to, not only do you make it easier for him to feel safe enough to return to you, but also you simplify the work for you. Like, you won't be destroying yourself emotionally. It's going to be easier, simpler. And I want to address this one thing, because most women do this one mistake, and I don't want you to do the same thing. See, I've had a lot of women, one-on-one, my clients, faking it, right? Pretending. Or not after they met me, obviously. That was before they met me. And they just grab some random videos from 2 years ago, something when they were like in a club, or when they were like in a party with other guys around and their female friends, everything. And they put them on their WhatsApp status or their Instagram stories just to make him jealous, like to get his attention. Or they just pretend that they're happy. They go out, they take a lot of pictures, they post too many posts on their social medias. And you forget one thing. You can't fool this person. If you've been in love with this person, if you were somehow emotionally bonded, it doesn't end to the physical aspect of it. It also goes into spiritual, emotional. It doesn't stay just on the physical spectrum, okay? I'm going to explain. When you're in love with someone, yes, you can be physically intimate always. Makes sense. Kisses, sex, everything. But you have to understand also there's a bond. Your spirits, there's a bond that happens inside. Your energies are bonded together, right? And everything you do in this period, he can know that you are actually real or you're faking it. If you purely detach, if you purely work on yourself, move on, or love yourself more, choose yourself more, if you're having fun, like authentically, he can tell, he can feel it. That's when you see when you don't care about something, it shows up, it comes. It's the law of attraction, right? The more you detach from something and you genuinely dive into something else, you're going to see that thing you've been looking for before resurfacing, right? So I don't want you to go and fake this independence, this self-love, this self-rediscovery. I want it to be actually genuine. Go back and see all the routines you used to do, all this, the dates you used to take yourself onto, all the hobbies. You used to meet your friends a few times in a month. Everything you used to do that you never do right now. Everything that you used to do as your old version that he fell for. I want you to go back and revisit. Do it the same way or even more. Not for him to come back. Not for him to notice. For you. The more you choose yourself, the more he chooses you. The more you choose him, the more he chooses himself. That's weird, but that's truth, okay? Now, let's talk about the third thing, and this is your favorite. Reaching out to him. When it comes to a time you have to reach out to him, the goal is not what you say to him. The goal is not what you do. The goal is the energy from which what you say and what you do is coming from. Please, please, please do not reach out from panic. Do not reach out from desperate energy. I want you to ask yourself this question before you even dare to text him. Am I texting him? Am I reaching out because I feel calm? Am I reaching out because I've worked on myself? I've rediscovered myself? Am I reaching out because my energy is much more cleaner, is much more attractive, magnetic? Or I'm reaching out because I can't survive one more day without texting this man? What's the answer? If the answer is because you can't resist texting him, then you have to wait. You have to go back to focusing on yourself, working on yourself. I want you to discharge the urgency first. Remove the urgency. If you're feeling like, yes, I planned to text him today at 12 p.m. Like if you sort of like have this urgency, discharge it. I recommend you go for a walk. I recommend you do some extra work of your daily routines. I recommend you do something else. And when you've calmed yourself down, there is no urgency. You can breathe. Your heart is like at ease. Then you can reach out. When communication finally happens, I want you to make it as light, as possible, as relaxing as possible. Don't bring anything relationship related. I know you're going to have to talk about it in the future, obviously. You're going to talk about those uncomfortable conversations, but this is the wrong time, because if you bring it up now, he's just going to push him back into the self-defense mode. It's going to push him back into the self-protection mode, and it's going to be nastier. Now, if you've done something wrong, because it's not always about him, sometimes it might be about you. Maybe you've cheated on him, you've betrayed him, maybe you were disrespectful, maybe you did something that he wasn't happy about. If you've done something wrong, obviously you have to address it. You have to be accountable. You have to be sorry for it. You have to apologize. You have to work on it and be genuine about it. And you have to make sure that it's not a sort of like manipulation. You really genuinely believe that it wasn't supposed to be done the way you did it, right? And when a conversation happens, just keep it light and make sure that you change the image he's built around you subconsciously. Because if you've done something wrong, he obviously has this image about you, which is not good, right? His brain is only remembering those last nasty conversations, last bad moments. So you have to change that. How do you change that? When you get to talk, when you get to meet, don't bring anything related to those dramas. Make sure that you show up as if it's a first date. Be happy, spend awesome time together, create better memories. And when he goes back, make him feel shocked and surprised. I'm like, wait a minute, that was a fun version of her. Like, that's not what I was expecting. If you do it that way, it's gonna change the image he has around you, and at least he's gonna be open to talking to you again in the future, or maybe he's gonna be open to planning another date. And at least after a few dates, 2 or 3, you can talk about those uncomfortable conversations. Now, if you want to get him back, and this is too much for you, you feel overwhelmed, you feel broken, you can't do anything right now, and you don't know how to do it the right way, your energy is not really there for you to reattract him back, you can check the link below this video. I'm going to help you to reattract him back over time, because I've helped a lot of other women, so why not you? Check the link below, or you can check the pinned comment. I'm going to leave a link, okay? And if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something in this video, this is the time you give it a like. This is the time you subscribe to this channel, because every single week I upload 2 videos that are actually better than this one. It's always better, okay, as time goes. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video. I don't want you to miss out on the next one. And you can check my other videos. They're amazing. They're going to help you. I hope I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye.